phrases like that is
and lo and behold, when I wanted to do it, I
leading to horrible emotional outpourings.
I rang you yesterday and I sort of like, you know, I actually remembered to ring you to sort of say, look, I can't make it tonight.
I don't tend to trust
now
that
I'm here,
kind of phrase.
you know, on a blank and stuff, and I'm going to have to deal
So at
with
the
that.
moment I would say, I don't know, I haven't got an answer. What does freedom of expression mean?
Another lie.
God.
I mean, the amount of lies that I spend, that the amount of lies that I tell because of my timekeeping is just...
Well, I would have thought it's kind of changeable on...
and it's not the fact that I'm telling lies, because
it seems to be, my views seem to be changeable on
it's still
the things that I'm doing. And at the moment I tend to see freedom of expression in quite a negative.
What am I going to say to them? I told them that my car is playing up on me. I'm just going to have a look. That was 20 minutes ago. They're going to be calling me down the radio saying, so I'm going to have to say, well, I went to a garage and I got chatting to this bloke and all the rest of it. Anyway, it's gone off the point. But yeah, sense of achievement is, you know, finding the time to do what I want, which then means that I must be, because I want to do it, I'm expressing myself.
It's such a long time
whether it's to someone or not, I'm doing it. And, you know, that's what's important to me.
I suppose writing,
otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. Or otherwise I'd be trying to do it.
Writing is my most
running around,
uninhibited freedom of
getting
expression.
lost in, God, what time is it? Oh shit, I said I was going to do that. Oh Christ, I've got my so-and-so.
Do you think that that's great, doing a couple of favourites, sit there, doing favourites, yeah, just sort of introduce you form that flexibility thing. How do you feel?
It was pretty good. It's quite
Well,
nice.
I mean, it's kind of, if you're using like a phrase like freedom of expression, it's got capital letters and
I did, didn't I? Do you know what I mean? It always creeps in.
marks around it, and so automatically you just think, God, how do I express myself? You know, most of the time you're unaware of how you're expressing yourself anyway. So, I guess that, you know, I express myself clearest when I'm teaching, which wouldn't be seen as freedom of expression particularly, or when I'm at home with her, which may not be regarded as freedom of expression. In terms of a feeling like I've got something to express and then finding a way to express it, I don't do a great deal of it.
Well, what we look for really is honesty. It's interesting that sometimes you see it in captive. You just want that honest response.
Yeah.
You just want to weave in any way you can.
Yeah.
That's why we ask the question, because I think with other questions it'd be much harder to get. People will be so much more cagey, and rightly so. You know.
Yeah. Because it's
much as possible just asking them for their opinion.
Excellent. I really didn't want to smoke on.
Sound check through. Okay, busy.
Right.
But what we'd like to know is what's the freedom of expression?
Freedom of expression. That you have the capacity to express yourself as you feel is right. Losing plot.
Is that all you want to say?
I'm lost. It's a bit of a big sort of big thing to sort of like.
I'd like if you want to say anything else. Do you think it's something, I suppose, that you turn yourself from
freedom of of expression, something that you determine yourself. How much freedom you've got is granted. How much freedom you've actually got to express yourself. Because, I don't know, I don't think that you haven't necessarily got a huge amount of freedom to express yourself as you want to for a lot of the time. Because there are certain restrictions that prevent you from doing that. Like from all over the place, you know, socially, whatever. Well, so kind of like now, I'm not free to say what I want. Like my mind says to me, and that places restrictions on my freedom of expression, because I don't know whether what I'm saying, like this situation is a situation where you're going to be like suspicious in some way, because like I don't know how you're going to use what I'm saying, so my free expression could be like used in another way by you. So it's not going to be me freely expressing something. It's going to be, so that makes me suspicious about me being free with expressing whatever I want to say. But it's like the thing that there's always some restriction from somewhere that stops you from being able to just, you know, say whatever you want to say or do whatever you want to do, because you've always got something else that's there. I mean, if you express, and it's like a two-way thing, because you can't just sit there and like express something to yourself. You express it to something, because it's a communication thing. And then whatever you express it to, put some restriction on what you're expressing, because you like adjust what you're saying according to like the circumstance that it's coming out in. Generally, no. Sometimes I think I do. But, I don't know, if I sat and thought about it, most of the time, I wouldn't be free. I wouldn't be expressing myself freely, because I'd be saying something that was kind of, censored in some way by my head, so that it would be appropriate to the situation that I was in, kind of thing. I don't know, but I was going to say something just a minute ago, it's completely gone.
Spent 6 months researching everything, reading as much as I could, watching documentaries, looking at photographs, and then I got to meet Stephen about 4 or 5 days before we started filming, and I suffered from verbal diarrhea, and I basically just kind of spewed forth information about him to him, and he's like, yeah dude, I know, I'm him.
Well, this movie for me is really a love story. It's an emotional story that you're telling, and I feel like Jane is such a phenomenal woman in her own right. You know, no one knows anything about her, but it was about capturing her essence. And it was about trying to show that complication, that she loved him and celebrated him, but I think sometimes she felt that the kind of support and commitment she had given him hadn't been returned.
Do you have a favorite love story?
Is the right word at a time. Freedom of expression is the right to produce, publish, broadcast, generate and distribute to other people any material which you personally feel you want to, and which you personally feel you are doing in a way, in such a way that you are not entering into any kind of bad faith with other people unless it's deliberate. So freedom of expression for me is about being able to produce kind of anything you want, so long as you feel kind of honest about it yourself.
What about rights? Do you feel that what rights? You say it's like rights. Freedom of expression is right. See freedom of expression being like that. Some political prerogative or something.
Yeah, when I say right, I don't mean a kind of given right. By right, I mean I guess a kind of moral ideal. But in that sense, kind of what a government allows you to do. The right is something given to you usually by a state. So by right, I don't kind of mean something that you kind of born with. I guess by right, in the sense I'm using it, I don't mean a right. I mean a permission. Yeah, freedom of expression is a permission.
Who grants the permission?
A state or a state either through like laws or through kind of covert means.
Or whatever, you have to make it yourself. So they're all like
again, by state I don't mean
squirreling away in their shed and creating these things. So yeah, some of them, the last night Bill, who made this fantastic discovery about hippos, he had a hydrophone attached to two sticks that's wrapped around a hamster run, yeah, it's a hamster run at the end. It was a hamster run. There's another scientist on last night was using a pair of his mother-in-law's tights stretched over a very important piece of kit that costs £500,000 that normally tests vibrations on jumbo jets. So they're all sort of cobbled together from all different things. And the vervet monkeys, I was using a garden ornament because there've been no leopards in Mombasa for 20 years, so I had to go and get this garden ornament to show them. And then when I was doing the hawk, I had a broken kite. Actually broke halfway through the experiment. I was thinking this isn't going to work, but it still did work. So
you know what occurs to me? Like, you're talking about a lot of exotic animals. There'll be people at home now thinking, well, I talk to my dog or cat every day, and they understand every word, and I can understand that. I can understand noises that they make too. Is that a version of the same thing? Because some people say they absolutely understand. Dogs bark for a certain thing, or cats meow, or they sound different. They can have a dialogue.
Well, we didn't do pets in this, so we just did about animals speaking to each other. But I do know that dogs, for instance, and the reason why they're man's best friend is because we have a really fantastic ability to read each other's emotions and communication. So whether you are
right, I've got one question for you. Yes. What does freedom of expression mean to you? Take whatever time you need to take.
Is this as an artist or as a citizen? As an individual. I think it's a notion about distribution. Really, it's about being able to distribute ideas or materials or any notion just out into the culture at large, really.
You see, when I suppose you said And first of all, personally, how does it make you feel that being expressed? Does it make you feel happy? Does it make you feel sad? Or do you feel that it's alive? What do you feel?
I think, for a start, like the reason why I kind of differentiated that, whether as an artist or as a citizen or whatever, is often used as a term around citizenship, and it's like that there being a flip side to this idea of freedom of expression in a democracy, and that flip side being responsibility and some moral responsibility. And it's like I have certain doubts about expressing morality of any sort in art.
So when you hear the phrase that you don't really think you're free to do what you want to do?
That's still not in our culture particularly, no. There are various examples of artworks or artists or whatever who would get persecuted for following their right to express what they wanted, what they honestly believed, or what they truthfully wanted to represent or show or put out into the culture.
And because sometimes I met someone that, it's amazing, because if I met one person for example, in the bar, during the night, and I just sit behind or above, or not above, so below, near, and if I had the conversation, okay, just, here, listen, if I met him, for example, next morning with a different kind of people, I noticed that he behaves in a different way. And if someone asks the same questions, perhaps because he's a different person, it's much more important, or he thinks that the other person should like that he said the thing the other side. So he did it. And I don't agree with this behavior. If you believe in, if you have your beliefs, and if you think that it's like this, should be like this, not because the other person thinks or knows that things should be like that. You don't need to be afraid to express what you feel. It's exactly what I think.
How do you express yourself?
Myself. I come from a wonderful place near the sea, and I really love the sea. And if I need to compare myself with something, it's with the sea, because nobody can stop the sea. Nobody can, even if you try to build something, in the sea will, if it's not the place there, the sea will destroy it, and the sea just keep going, and one day is big waves, very, like, I don't know the word in English, very wild. I think that I'm too wild sometimes, you know. Wild. White? No. Wild. Yes, wild, yeah. And yes, I think that I express myself like the sea, same as the sea, and sometimes, you know, perhaps you are not going to understand why I express myself like the sea, because I born near the sea, I live near the sea, you know, I grew up near the sea. So it's like, you know, you can find a peace in the sea, you know, you can feel very, very well in the sea. Just say it, and I don't know. Yes, I express myself like the sea.
Just about yeah, if you just like sit still for a minute, and we do a couple of still shots and fade up from a blank screen, so you just look at the camera, which is just like the camera.
Do what?
Different shots.
Like look at different sides?
No, you just look at the camera.
Alright.
This is just to introduce on the video.
Alright.
How do you feel?
I know. It was difficult because I thought it was much more about something, not about by myself. Yeah. So that's why it wasn't difficult. The only problem was the English. I don't know if you understand most part. Yes. I try. Yeah. Alright.
More than the English people.
Oh, come on. Yeah. If I could speak, you know, because there's some. When I spoke about say, you know, I know so. I can, you know, what can I say? For example, to identify myself, there are some key words that I can, you know, say. I think that I'm like this. Doesn't matter. It's done. No, it's alright. No, it's okay now. It's alright.
You say what you want to say.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We finished? Yeah. That was brilliant.
Alright.
Perspective, ready, roll.
Okay.
Right, first of all, just ask your name, really.
Well, you're asking my name now.
So, I mean, are you saying freedom of expression in an artistic sense, or just in a whole world?
Well, just taking praise and sitting out.
Well, freedom of expression actually sounds like a club night to me.
Okay.
A club night. That would be a good name for a club night. But I don't know, I suppose you could like class the way I have my hair as freedom of expression. You know, I put sunflowers in my hair because I want to. If they look stupid, you know, to somebody else, I don't care, because personally when I look in the mirror I think they look cool. And that's how I see freedom of expression, which I don't think you get a lot of in England. Definitely not.
So is it, do you feel it in positive or?
Definitely. I think people should have more freedom of expression. They should, I don't know, you should be allowed to express yourself without having to worry about your peers, what people will think of you, whether it is in an artistic sense or in an everyday sense, no matter what. If you want to do something because you just want to do it, there doesn't have to be any sort of deep meaning behind it. You should be able to do it, but there's too many pretentious people. You can't do things without having some psychological reason. You know, I don't know. I just think the world's pretty screwed up about expression. Too many sheep. Far too many. Can't think of anything else.
Do you think there's a pressure for?
Definitely. But as soon as you're born, you have to conform. You're taught how, from your parents, if you've got laid back funky parents, then you're on a better sort of angle. If you've got parents like strict Catholic parents, like my mum was brought up in a strict Catholic way, and my dad was like out stealing cars when he was young. You know, they're pretty unusual to have together, but they've brought me up in a very sort of individual way somehow. Even though my mum her family was like very conformed, very mass every Sunday, confession. My mum has never forced me to go to church or anything, and my dad has never my dad was brought up on a council estate, he's never sort of taken me that way.
Yes, and
you walk down the street and people are just conforming in the way that you walk and in where you're going.
Myself or the venue?
Well, how long have you been here yourself?
I've been here for a year, give or take a month or two.
What sort of stuff do you do here?
We do food, and we do parties downstairs, and we do gigs, and we do events of varying descriptions.
So how do you incorporate the variety of influences in your work?
Variety of influences in my work?
Like music and stuff like that?
Really, with just a varied events programme. That's pretty much all I can do. We try and book across a range of genres and different shows, and we incorporate art into what we do as well. And I think really that's pretty much the best way we can do that.
Where are you from?
I'm personally from the Peak District, a place called New Mills, between here and Sheffield.
How did you end up in Manchester?
I used to do parties here before I had the job, and I migrated to Manchester soon after I got the job.
What most inspires you? Inspires what you do?
Probably other clubs around the world, and how the Golden Poodle in Hamburg is a huge influence for a lot of the things that we do here, both their approach to art and programming.
Do they have like a similar setup to what you have here?
You could say that, yeah. A little bit smaller, but yeah, similar.
What do you like most about your work?
Essentially, amongst other things, I get paid to listen to music in a club, and you can't really beat that.
What have been the best bits of your career so far, and the worst bits?
Worst bits are the late nights, early mornings. Best bits include parties that we've done with people like Floating Points, and seeing some of the local resident DJs downstairs on the big sound system, which is always good.
What's your favourite thing at the moment?
Favourite thing?
Yeah, like ice cream or food.
Favourite thing at the moment? Oh, that's an obscure question.
What music are you listening to at the moment? Anything in particular?
I'm listening to a lot of different stuff at the moment. I've just picked up a release on a friend's record label, Rough Cuts No. 9.
What's it called?
Rough Cuts No. 9, and that's particularly great. That's what I've been listening to most recently.